Welcome to our weekly press conference with head coach Tom Arth. This week, Akron closes out its Saturday schedule with a game at Bowling Green on Saturday, November 2nd at Perry Stadium in Bowling Green, Ohio. Kickoff is at 2 o'clock. Coach, would you like to start with an opening statement?
Sure. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Looking forward to this week. Enjoy these Saturday games while they come. I think the action is really outstanding. It's great, great recognition for our league, for the programs in our league, and for the players in our league. But there is something special about playing college football on Saturdays. So we're going to enjoy the normalcy of our schedule this week as coaches and players, and excited to have a great program as our opponent this week in Bowling Green. Certainly a great tradition of success within that program, and have a lot of respect for their coaching staff and how they're playing and the types of things that they're doing on offense, defense, and special teams. They present a number of different challenges that we are going to have a really great plan for, and going to have to prepare very well with a great level of detail in everything that we do to be able to go out there and to play at a high level this weekend.
Sort of a big picture kind of question. What are you looking for out of your team the rest of the season?
Constant improvement. Really, again, that's the goal week in and week out. And we need to see that, and we have seen that. We have seen that. As we've gone, and unfortunately, it's been in one area one week and another area the next. We've had a hard time really putting it all together as a team. So I think that's really, that's the big thing for me is our group being able to go out there and play really well together, to play as a team. Offense feeds off the defense feeds off the offense. Special teams is making big plays, putting our offense and defense in great position to start drives. So really looking for our team to play well together, as opposed to in one facet or another.
Have you been able to put your finger on why they haven't been? The defense had a stretch where it was pretty decent, actually, and still the offense hasn't been. Why can't they put this all together for 4 quarters?
Yeah, I think that's that's a tough question. I wish I knew the answer to that. I think there's I'm sure a lot of reasons. There's not just one answer, and some of those things we are aware of, and some of those things that we're working on a daily basis within our program to correct. And others is just seems that we make some mistakes. We make some mental errors as we go out there. So again, it's a tough situation to be in, and there is no one single answer. It's just it's a cumulative effort. It starts on Monday and goes through the final whistle on Saturday, and I think that's where we need to keep putting our focus and our attention.
Were you surprised by the difficulty that the team had with the elements? I mean, it was bad for everybody, but as you said after the game, it was the same for Northern. If that surprised you or disappointed you a little bit?
Well, certainly, I don't think we handled it well, by any means. We put the ball on the ground a number of times. We dropped snaps. We had poor snaps. Just a lot of, we struggled to throw the ball, catch the ball, run our routes without slipping. So, I think, it's a learning experience for us. And like I've said, that's why we practice outside, regardless of the elements. Unless it's lightning and we're not able to be outside, we're out there. And I know George, he asked me about that at some point in fall camp. It's pouring rain and we're out there practicing. It's like, well, we're going to play in this at some point. We're playing in the Mid-American Conference. We're here in Akron in Northeast Ohio. Like, the weather's going to be bad, and I think it's important for our team to understand that and to realize that we do play in these types of conditions. And shame on me as a coach if we don't prepare our players for that. If we went out there on Saturday and we played poorly and we made the mistakes that we made and we dropped snaps, we missed snaps, couldn't throw it, couldn't execute in the wet weather, and we had never practiced in it. Then that's 100%, on me, and not preparing our team to be successful for every situation that they could possibly face. So, I was disappointed in how we handled it. Thought we would be a lot better, showed, ability to be better at practice. But again, we saw a lot of the same issues, at practice that we saw, on Saturday. Again, I think it has to start there. It has to start with your preparation. It has to start with how you practice, and those things show up, positively and negatively. Practice execution equals game reality. We talk about it all the time in our program, and it's just important that we keep emphasizing that, and that that our players really understand that and live that way.
I know we've talked about this. I've brought it up a number of times, but now we are in the final 4 games. But as I look more at it, you're playing a fair number of freshmen already, especially on defense.
Right.
So I don't know how many more guys there are on your team to possibly run out there, or if you'd even want to do that. If it's winning or the games will be close, how you're going to handle all that?
Well, there are a number of freshmen who have been playing for us, as you mentioned. I think majority of our freshmen have played for us this year. There are a few that haven't played their 4 games yet, and even a couple that haven't played at all this season, that have really been kind of waiting for these last 4 games. They're kind of key backups. There were situations where you could potentially need them, and didn't want to lose those opportunities. But now with 4 weeks left to go in the season, it's really free reign for our coaches to get some of these guys in. And I think we're going to start out on special teams. They've been doing a great job for us on our practice squads on special teams. Bumped them up into some 2 deeps last week, and have bumped a few up into some starting roles on our special teams units. And I think that this first week, getting their first taste of college football on special teams, and how they handle that, how they perform in those situations, will dictate how much more we're able to do with them throughout the remainder of the season. But we certainly will do everything we can to maximize the opportunities for our young players without burning a year for them, and without putting them in a disadvantaged situation, or putting our team in a disadvantaged situation. You still want to have the best 11 guys out there in every situation that you encounter, but we do think there's some young guys for us that can be a part of that.
Coach, a couple questions. I'm assuming not some of these guys aren't going to start, but there's a couple guys, 2 or 3 guys that you've really been impressed with, that now you're going to finally get a chance to see under game conditions. The second part is, when you're out recruiting, is coming into this program and with the possibility to play early and contribute, is that a key factor in some of these guys looking at us now?
Yeah, I'll answer the second part first. I think it is. I think everybody. It's human nature when you're you're used to being a starter in high school, and maybe some of these guys have played 4 years of high school. Some of them have played 2-3 years as starters, and everybody wants that opportunity to play and to play early. So I do think that's important, and where there are those opportunities, and where there's players with that type of talent, we do talk about that. We do let them know that there is potential to contribute to our program from at an early time in their career. Now they got to earn it, certainly, and nothing's promised and nothing's guaranteed. Every player has to come in and earn their way and earn their role, and it's challenging, really, for any position, for any player to come in and play as a true freshman. But those opportunities do exist, as we can see, with the number of true freshmen that are playing for us this year, and I would imagine there'll be a great opportunity, again next year for some young guys to contribute. The first part of your question, I think Corey Thomas is a really exciting young player for us, a guy that I know that, in going through our recruiting process last year, when we got here, Corey's from Penn Hills High School, one of the top programs in the state of Pennsylvania. Just an incredible person, very talented player, big, 6'4", 220 pounds, smart. Really smart player. We've kind of bounced him around a little bit this year from position to position where, we've really, kind of needed depth. And, he kind of came in as a defensive back. We moved him to linebacker. we've moved him back the last couple weeks to defensive back. He's out there at practice playing corner, playing safety, playing linebacker, playing outside linebacker, playing defensive end for us some weeks. So you talk about a versatile athlete, big guy who can run, who's smart, who comes from a great program, who knows what it takes to be successful. He's a guy that could have been playing for us all year long, but was in such a key position as a depth guy for us at a number of roles that we really weren't in position to use those games before we got to this point. So now being where we are with 4 weeks left to go, I'm really excited for Corey to have the opportunity to get out there and to play, and to run. I know he's been wanting to. He's been itching, to get out there every week. He's coming in and he wants to play tight end one day. He wants to he wants to do anything to contribute to the team, and I absolutely love that about him. And Kaishad Mack is another from Massillon High School, another guy that just really excited about, another big long guy who can run, who can do a lot of things, who's versatile within our defense, who's I think going to be able to help us a lot in these last 4 games on special teams, and hopefully both of those guys can make their way into a role for our defense.
Given the circumstances, are you shocked that someone like John Lako still showing up week after week?
No, I'm not at all. I think you have guys like Lako and Josh Ward, Darrell Long, Nate Stewart, just some of these guys that they have such great character, such great makeup, enjoy playing, enjoy competing. Enjoy the process of working towards improvement, and they just show up day in and day out, and ready to commit to their teammates, ready to give everything that they have and lay it on the line for their football program each day at practice, and certainly on game days. So I'm not surprised by those guys at all. I'm really proud of them, and really special honor for me to coach players like that, and they're a great example, and they're providing a great example to every other player in our program of really what it's about, and what it takes to play at a high level, and what it takes to compete, in this league. Those guys set that standard every day.
What was the difference this week for Brandon Lee? I don't want to call it a breakout, but he was effective this week. So what was the difference there?
Well, I think really, if you look at the last couple weeks, I think we've been run blocking better up front. I think our offensive line and our tight ends have been doing a much better job in the run game as of late, and I think it really started to show at practice. We really started running the ball well at practice. I think you go back to the UB game, maybe even the Kent State game. We really started running the ball well at practice, and getting some push and getting some movement and getting to the second level, and playing with great physicality and really downhill on our double teams, and I think that's really that's started to translate a little bit for us. We've seen it the last couple weeks for sure. Just I think a big improvement in the run game, and we hope that continues. That's important for us that we are able to run the football, and hopefully we'll be able to do that again this weekend.
Coach, along the lines of the older players that are leaders and stuff, and there's always injuries. There's always been injuries in football. That it hit you? I mean, Sean Featherstone, guys were really upset when he was getting carved. I guess they'd be upset with anyone. But here's a guy who came back for a 6th year, and you could see that really, at least in that moment, people were pretty upset.
It sure
about
did,
it.
and
Yeah.
I think that says a lot about Sean. I think that says a lot about what he means to his teammates. I think everybody within our program and within our university community understands what Sean's had to overcome, and injuries in the past, working so hard to get back from those injuries, getting getting this season back to be able to come out and play, and he's had a great year for us. He's been he's been battered and banged up really all season long. I don't think he's had a contact practice since training camp. He's out there practicing in a red jersey every single day, just fighting through injuries, getting to game day, and going out there and playing at a really high level. He's made a huge difference for us in our defense and in our secondary, not just as a player but as a leader. As a guy that you know what this opportunity means to him. It's very evident, and I think that that was a really genuine reflection of that in how our team responded to his injury. Everybody can recognize a guy who cares. Everybody who can recognize a guy who's invested so much into something, and when that's taken away from you, it hurts. It hurts you as a player. It certainly hurt me as a coach, and it hurt our team. To watch Sean have to go through that, and we hope that our defense and our program in general is able to rally around that and say, what, here's a guy that's just done everything he possibly can. We owe it to him to do the same. To give everything that we have, to care the way that he cares. To be passionate about Akron the way that he is, and we're certainly going to miss Sean out there on the field, but he's still a strong influence on our team. He wants to coach. So I think he's going to get a little bit of jump on that coaching career these last 4 weeks, and we're actually hoping that he sticks around and wants to work with us, this spring. But he said he saw Coach Chichone, our defensive GA, and he said he's already starting to lose his hair from the beginning of the season, so he may stick to high school. But Sean's going to be an outstanding coach, and we certainly will support him in every way that we possibly can to help him find a place to work. If it's here, if it's someplace else, wherever he's at, it's going to be really fortunate to have him.
Because I know you love this question. What's the quarterback situation this weekend? Is Cato's status still the same?
It's unknown, to be determined. I think the big thing is we got to play better, at that position. We talked about it. I don't think we played as well as we were capable of playing, this past week, and and that affected our success on offense. So we got to be better at that position, and whoever's back there, whoever's under center, needs to play at a high level, needs to be the leader of our offense, and I expect to see that this weekend.
He was only sacked twice, but Zach was bounced around and battered a little bit. What's his confidence like right now?
Zach's a really confident guy. I was joking with him yesterday. We saw the piece for the show, the TV show, and he's like, yeah, my game, I really, kind of remind myself of Jameis Winston, and so we were giving him a hard time about that. But I don't think Zach has any confidence issues at all. He is an extremely confident player, and that's an important part of playing the quarterback position. And he's able to bounce back, he's able to rally back, and he had a really good day today. Went out there and threw the ball really confidently, and it is tough. As you said, he's you're playing in some really difficult conditions. For Zach, as a kid from Georgia, probably one of the worst weather games he's ever been a part of. So to have that experience, to be going up against a great team in NIU, to have some protection issues and get hit the way that he was getting hit is challenging. Is really challenging. But I thought he bounced back, and I thought he handled being able to go back and watch the film and learn from the mistakes, and he's going to be a really good player for us. He's a really talented person, really confident person whose teammates believe in him. He's able to inspire the guys around him, and he'll be just fine.